Now, Donald Trump told us that, hey, don't worry, tax cuts are great. We're gonna have big, beautiful tax cuts. And it's gonna go to the middle class and the poor mainly. I mean, I go a little bit to the rich, but that's just gonna help you guys anyway. Turns out, not the case. So great story from Arthur Delaney at HuffPost here. First, explaining the context, President Donald Trump says his tax reform plan will help working people. But Republicans are mulling a clampdown on the only part of the tax code that specifically benefits low-income workers. And that's the earned income tax credit. And people don't talk about that enough. Honestly, neither do I. It's a great program. It's for the working poor. You can't get it if you're not working. And it gives you a little bit of supplemental income so you could pay your bills and pull yourself up by the bootstrap, which is what Republicans claim that they want as they go and attack it in reality. So let's show you the reality. So the loss of a tax benefit is often considered a tax increase. That's why House Speaker Paul Ryan and White House Economic Advisor Gary Cohn have conceded that some middle-class Americans could face a tax increase under their plan due to the loss of personal exemptions and itemized deductions. Limiting the number of people who benefit from the earned income tax credit would be tantamount to hiking taxes on relatively poor working families. So there's several different layers here. Earlier, they had conceded, yeah, I mean, if we take away some itemized deductions, it's not gonna hurt the rich that much, but the middle class can get really hurt by that. So when we say tax cuts, we mean only for the rich. The middle class actually could get tax increases. Now with the EITC, they're saying, and by the way, the poor can also get tax increases. What do we tell you? It's just tax cuts for the rich. And it's redistribution of wealth to the top. They're not just done just giving the tax cuts to those guys. They want to take from you. So let's give you the details. The earned income tax credit provides a big wage bonus for parents who earn modest incomes. And about 28 million households benefited from the credit in 2015. It was created in 1975 and it has been expanded a half a dozen times. So that's a lot of folks who benefit from it, more than 10% of the country. And remember, every one of them is working. So let's give you a sense of how much they get and what salaries get it, okay? If a married couple with 3 kids earns less than $23,000, they can get a tax credit payment of $6,318, with the size of the credit falling to 0 as the couple's income approaches $54,000. So if you don't work, you don't get this at all. If you work and you're above $54,000, great, there's other tax credits for the middle class, but you're not gonna get this because this is for the working poor, okay? So it's phased out at $54,000. But if you're working hard and you've got a family and you're struggling to make ends meet, this helps you get you over the top, hopefully, so you can feed your kids, etc. So it's one of the best programs we have for the working poor, and I'm actually proud of America for having this. It's one of the things I think that is underrated. So how are the Republicans going to destroy it? Are they going to say, well, the working poor are bums? Well, I can't say that. It's just welfare, they can't quite say that. With tax cuts, well, this is a tax increase. So what are they going to say? Fraud. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's got a lot of fraud. We got to crack down on it. So here they go. Past studies cited by the Congressional Research Service have suggested most of the errors actually result from honest mistakes, such as separated parents both claiming the same dependents. Now, if you're a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, you've got an army of accountants and you can afford to get it exactly right. You're someone earning $23,000, and could you make a mistake from time to time in your accounting because you went to H&R Block, which by the way is one of the issues. No disrespect to H&R Block, they didn't name them specifically, just throwing out a random name there. Okay, or you know what, you didn't know that once you're separated, you can't both claim it. So yes, there are some issues with overpayment, but overpayment that gets immediately spent and put back into the economy anyway, and you're supposed to be helping the working poor. There should never be, look, if in my perfect world, there are no mistakes, right? But apparently, according to the Congressional Budget Office, it is, or Research Service, it is mainly honest mistakes. They don't care, they're gonna punish you. So now you wanna know what the real problem is in the IRS? The difference between what people owed the IRS and what the agency managed to collect averaged $458 billion a year from 2008 through 2010, or about an 18% gap, according to the most recent data available. Now that's for all taxpayers. Now, if there's $458 billion of fraud. That's what the Republicans would call it. That's a $500 billion amount. Overall, for all taxpayers, where do you think you can get the most amount of money? If you concentrated on the higher income brackets, well, if they're committing fraud, you're not gonna make it up. No, we would never be for that. They think like we don't like the rich. No, we just want everybody to be treated fairly. So if you at a minimum, if you did it evenly throughout all the tax brackets, you'd get a lot more money recovered for the Treasury from people who are in the higher income brackets. And remember, you'd only recover it if they're doing fraud. Wouldn't that be a great thing? But they're not spending money in that direction. They're spending money to target the poor. It is unreal. Okay, I'm gonna give you more details here. They say the single biggest contribution to this tax cap was people underreporting business income on their individual returns, which added up to $125 billion in lost tax revenue each year. So part of this is what they call pass-through income. You wanna guess who does pass-through income for all of his income? You're gonna be shocked to find out that's Donald J. Trump. So they are not going to target that. The biggest area for fraud, where the most amount of revenue can be recouped, they are not going to target. Instead, they're gonna go after the poor. So the details on that, is it really effective? The IRS already devotes a disproportionate amount of effort toward combating earned income tax credit errors, with more than 400,000 of the 1.2 million audits last year targeting EITC claims from taxpayers making less than $25,000 a year, according to IRS data. Are you kidding me? This was before the new crackdown led by Kevin Brady, a Republican who's head of the House and Ways and Means Committee, okay? A third of all their enforcement went to people making under $25,000. What are you gonna recover from them anyway? Now they're gonna target the poor even more. And as, of course, as Delaney points out here, the government doesn't get a very good return on its investment for all that effort, said Elaine Mag, an expert at the Tax Policy Center. It's an especially poor investment considering how much more the IRS could recoup by targeting higher income filers, according to the Government Accountability Office. Those groups are nonpartisan. Government Accountability Office is like, look, there's all this errors and fraud, and you're telling me we should spend most of our resources trying to target the fraud of people or errors of people making under $25,000? Wouldn't it make more sense to recoup more from the other brackets? No. Always let the rich skate and punish the poor. Why? Because the poor don't have any money to give to political donations. The guys in the upper brackets are political donors. We have private financing of elections. Who do you think they work for? They work for private interests. The public interest be damned. This is yet another example of that. And when Trump said, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna look out for the average guy, he must have had a good belly laugh in private. He's coming to crack down on the middle class and the poor and give almost everything to the rich. This is income redistribution to the top. So whatever they accuse progressives of, they actually want to do. It is grotesque, and it is Trump 101. Watch the Young Turks commercial-free, download it or stream it, watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.